Welcome to another episode of Great Man Aguilara Teaching, where we seek simply to know. Please ensure to subscribe to this YouTube channel, turn on the notification button, and to share with your friends. Welcome to another episode of Great Man Aguilara Teaching, where we seek simply to know. Please ensure to subscribe to this YouTube channel, turn on the notification button, and to share with your friends. Welcome to another episode of Great Man Aguilara Teaching, where we seek simply to know. Please ensure to subscribe to this YouTube channel, turn on the notification button, and to share with your friends. Hello and welcome. My name is Great Man Aguilara, and you are welcome to another episode of Great Man Aguilara Teaching. Today, we want to start a new episode, a new series on that singular word that I've come to be using for a long time now, which is seeking and the seeker. And purposefully, because a lot of people are beginning to now attach the word seeker to the way I chose to dress, I intentionally decided to put on this dress today so that you will know that a seeker does not need to dress in a certain or particular way. Now, all dressing are all the same as long as they cover your bones and also your flesh. You just have to wrap your body around something to look presentable. So the art of seeking has nothing to do with how you dress. Now we want to kick off on the very solo mode. Who is a seeker? There's been questions, there's been mails, there have been so many inquiries on, okay, teach me how to be a seeker. I want to be a seeker. How can I be a seeker? Who is a seeker? And all of those questions keep coming in and out. And I just want to, for a moment, say that it is not an opportunity to start a new religion or for you to say, okay, I'm angry with this set of people. Let me join this set of people, because I know humanity do that a lot. Now, how sudden would a man born in Islam, who have risen to the point of being a pastor in Christianity, suddenly say, I don't want to be part of these two anymore. I just want to look inside of me for an answer. Now, not many of us will have this opportunity to be able to think for ourselves, to be able to think outside the box. And when we do think outside the box, not many people will also be able to step outside the box. There is a difference between you thinking outside of it and stepping outside of it. It's a matter of confidence. And it really has nothing to do with where you grew up, your financial background. It has a lot to do with your self-discovery, your confidence in yourself. And I guess one way or the other, how we were brought up in life by our parents will have a lot of impact on if we would love to explore all that there is in this life, because you just simply cannot define life as a matter of black and white. We are but only a speck out of this cosmic force of nature, the galaxy, the space, and all. But even though we are a speck, nothing stops us from exploring or understanding the rest part of the space where we are. Because if you come to this world and you left without knowing all that there is to know, surely you have lived a wasted life. Especially when all that there is to know is right within you. So if someone says, what you need to know is with me, but I'm not going to allow you to get to know it, it's different. It is a great tragedy if what you need to know is staring at you in the face and is even inside of you, but you know it not. Now, most times in this part of the world, we were being trained either by social standard, family standard, cultural standard, traditional dictation to believe that most of the things that are foreign are genuine. Most times we think that genuine things only come from above, genuine things only come from abroad. Once it is coming from outside the shore of where we are located, we tend to cherish it and love it a lot. And it should not be so. Because we have been trained and raised up to think that things coming from the West or outside our nation, continent, or our immediate environment, metaphorically, are the best or are genuine. We also think that we need someone else to tell us how to live until someone outside of us tell us what is inside of us. Whatever it is that we perceive inside of us is not genuine enough. So we constantly subject ourselves to the external validation before we can believe in ourselves. Now, I will often tell parents during our intentional parenting session that when your child goes to school and come back home and try to praise herself or himself to say, I am the best in my class, I am simply the only one who can do this. You do not shut the boy or the girl down and say, no, allow other people to tell you that you are best. Now, someone once wrote that a king that needs to remind people that he is the king is not a king at all. I beg to differ from it because sometimes you do not need someone else to adorn you with royalty when you know you were born with majestic life. Sometimes people forget really who what we are capable of. It is only natural for us to remind them that this is who I am. But when we train up our children, our people, to only expect the validation from outside, to only expect the external validation, a foreign kind of object, before they believe in themselves, we constantly downgrade their self esteem to the point of being a slave. So I want you for a moment today to think about all that you have known and discovered about God. God. You call him God, I call him the source of universe, the spirit of life. Everything you have known about God so far, from which source did you get it from? Is it from within you or from outside of you? Do you know God according to your race, according to your color, according to your culture, according to your tradition, according to the things that your people started? Or do you only know God according to the definition of outsiders? So either you are a Muslim or you are a Christian, every definition you have of God was imposed on you by folks in the East. It was created in the East, transported to the West, and brought to Africa. And it ought not be so. Now, the people of the East actually discover the God they want to serve from within them. That is why we say a seeker does not believe what he or she has not experienced. And whatever he or she has experienced is not good enough for him to form a belief system over for others. When you try to push your belief system on other people, what you create is religion. And religion only thrives on human doctrine. Everything you've ever known about God, either you are a Muslim, you know him as Allah, and you only serve God according to the dictate of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If you practice Judaism, you only know God according to Moses, that prophet. If you are a Christian, because most times people do not know that there's a difference between Christianity and Judaism, they lump it up. If you are a Christian, you only know about God according to what Jesus said to you. Maybe you are from Yoruba race like myself. Sometimes those who worship God from the perspective of Ogun, some people worship God from the perspective of Shango. Sometimes maybe you are in India, you could know God from the perspective of Hare Krishna. Or maybe in the upper part of Asia, maybe you know God according to what Buddha dictated for you. Now there's a particular wisdom that I got. Said, only those who know their God, will be strong. They will receive enough strength and they will do exploits. But look at you right now. The God you have always known was a God that was marketed to you by some people that you are mostly not even related to. So these people only know God from within themselves, making researches, seeking who God is according to their own individual experience. So Moses is never going to tell you who God is beyond his own level of experience. Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam will never tell you who God is beyond his own level of experience. Yeshua will never tell you who God is beyond his level of experience. Either Shango, Ogun, or Yah, whoever you follow or listen to, they will never be able to tell you who God is beyond their level of experience. That is to show you that God is a personal definition according to human experience. Do I say it again? Who you call God, what you call God, the thing you call God, because you must agree with me that God is neither a male or a female. God is neither a he or a she or even a it. God is spirit. Spirit are no gender. Who or what you call God is solely dependent on your level of experience. But what happened to your own experience of God? While living the rest of your life, relating with God according to one man's experience. Because this is what brought about religious disparity, religious war, and all this discrimination between human beings. Because someone wants you to live your own life according to his own experience. Is that clear? Someone is constantly wanting to subject you to living life, looking at life, viewing life according to his own experience. And that is basically denying your own personality, your own possibility, your own attainability. Totally depriving the world you live in of all the good things that was embedded in your DNA, your own uniqueness, submitting it just to live the life of another person. So a seeker is not a photocopy, either in experience or real life situation of another person. That is why there's no way you can form a religion around seeking. You could listen to me right now. You can become enlightened, which I'm sure you are. But what you do with whatever it is I give to you or say to you is solely now dependent on you. Being a seeker is not a designation, just like being a Christian or a Muslim is a certain tag and destination. Now, when you are a Muslim or a Christian, you can only know God to the limitation of doctrines that guides your religion. So they tell you when you do this, God will be angry with you. They tell you when you move like this, God will be angry with you. But who is this God? Has he told you he will be angry with you? Did you hear it personally from him? Or some people feel like doing this can get you on the bad side of God, while this can get you on the good side of God. And when you check your life right now, you realize that you have lived thus far according to someone's mentality, someone who is probably dead a long time ago. So a dead man is controlling your life. That is just the simplicity of it. A dead man who is gone, gone in the thin air, who you will never be able to recognize even if you meet them in afterlife, if afterlife exists. Because a seeker only talk about the things that he or she has experienced. A dead man told you you can't put on scarf, you refuse to put on scarf. A dead man told you you can't eat this, you refuse to. A dead man told you that when you divorce, you cannot remarry, and you do not, you keep to it. A dead man said that women cannot talk in the public except through their husband. You chose that way of life. A dead man told you that when you kill other human beings like yourself who are not against you, you will have 72 virgins when you get to Aljana, and you began to live according to it. A dead man told you that, come, if there are widows in your gathering, if they have not gotten to the age of so, 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 and so, you cannot help them with the money you gather. And you chose to live by that life. You have not for once sat down and say, who gave the right to that dead man who is gone to dictate how I will live my life right now? So everything that you do is constantly being dictated by someone who is dead and who is gone. A seeker does not live like that. A seeker will ask, why? How come? What will happen if I do it? A seeker is not rebellious, don't get me wrong. But a seeker wants to have a proof of whatever it is that you tell him to do or not to do. So a seeker is not a zombie. A seeker do not live his own life according to foreign dictates. A seeker wants to live life and make hypotheses from his own experience. Now, they told you that someone walked on water. Have you tried to walk on water so as to prove if that power is in existence? You took it in, you asked no question, you just live like that. They told you that someone raised the dead. You just took it in. You never bothered to even exercise such power to see if it is true or not. Told you that the creator of the universe told some people to go to some people's state or town to kill their suckling children, to kill their feeding mother, nursing mother, to kill the aliens in their town and take over their land. You took it like that and you say, oh, surely if it is God, then it is good. And you never bother to ask, who is this God that told you to kill children who have done nothing wrong? Who told you to invent a land that you are not wanted in? So a seeker kind of say, the status quo will not put me on a spot like a statue. A seeker asks questions. Now, being a seeker requires a lot of things. The most of it is to prepare for persecution. You will be called a madman. You will be called someone who is mentally deranged. They will call you series of names. A seeker should expect to bear the suffix or the prefix anti in front of his name. Anti this, anti that. They call you anti-social, anti-Christ, anti-love, anti-everything. Because what is in existence and people have subscribed to is the falsehood they have been made to swallow without questioning. Without questioning. Up until the recent times, people were paying tithe to pastors without questioning. Until some people said, why should you take my tithe when I can give it to the needy? A seeker will break the jinx anywhere there. A seeker also understands that sourcing for information is solely not dependent on reading books. A seeker understands that reading books is like assessing the limitation of someone's knowledge. That is the limitation of their knowledge. And the limitation of someone's knowledge is the beginning of his own knowledge. Whatever you are shared with is supposed to spur you into the ocean of knowledge right inside of you. So a seeker is living with the mentality that information, knowledge is knowledge. Power is power. Knowledge could have power. Power could come with information, but they are two different things that could work together. So in garnering or gunning for power, a seeker does not misconstrue information. He doesn't use information to maliciously manipulate people into subjecting them. A seeker does not dwell on prophecy because he himself is the prophecy. And a seeker understands that prophecy is pure intelligence. Pure intelligence. Now, prophecy is not a divine ability to see into the future. Seeing into the future, reading between the lines, is a natural nature of a seeker. But seeing into the future is not something we celebrate and we shout about because it comes naturally. So a seeker knows that it is a bundle of prophecy. And what is prophecy? Intelligence, ability to read between the lines and see ahead of every other person. And to give you an hint today, the power of a seeker is solely lying in how much of silence and quietness he or she embraces. Have you read before that in quietness is your strength? Have you read before? Maybe you thought that is just keeping me while people are rubbishing you and all that. No. The seeker understands the power of meditation, the power of silence, because in quietness are you able to see through the noise around you and get the voice that you really need and apply the instruction to your life. So, who is a seeker? A seeker is simply a normal human being living an abnormal life in the mortal body. So whenever you are able to reach out to the things that is called the metaphysical, the supernatural, the extraordinary, you are a seeker living an extraordinary life in this ordinary mortal body, constantly shedding the weight of your mortality, constantly shedding the weight of your physical nature, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, the pride of life is no longer or are no longer having a hold on you. Your integrity comes forward before your name. Greed and covetousness is just away from you. A seeker is not trying to be holy because holiness is the nature of a seeker. Because he simply knows what to do and do it. He simply recognized what not to do and he refused to do it. It has nothing to do with one Holy Spirit coming to help him or one God helping him to live his life. He simply is intelligent enough to know that I should move away from this, and he did. I should get close to it, and he does. A seeker purely live his life, not in absolute solitude like you think. So take your mind off this lady behind my back who is performing yoga. She's just sitting like this to help her concentrate. So in the moment of your meditation, you really do not have a particular posture to sit or a particular mountain to go pray or a particular routine or ritual to perform. Anywhere that is comfortable for you, even in your sleep, a seeker is able to connect with the cosmos and the universe, which owns and warehouse all the data that is needed for this life and spirituality. So a seeker necessarily don't need to be someone who practice yoga, who dress in a certain way, who sit in a certain way, who talk in a certain way. A seeker is a normal person living extraordinary life in his mortal body. But there's one thing most important for those who want to embrace the lifestyle of seeking. They must first of all trust more in themselves than in God. I repeat again and I break it down. A seeker must first of all have more trust and confidence in himself than in God. Now, that is contrary to what you have been taught as a religious person. So, anything happens, they say, leave it for God. They want to travel, and instead of them to monitor that the system they are using as a means of transportation, either car, aeroplane, or whatever, is well in order and in good shape, they prefer to pray for Johnny Mercy. Instead of them to hold the government of the day accountable for good road, a religious person will say, God will cover the road with this blood and that blood. We bind every blood-sucking demon. But a seeker ensure that even if the road is bad, he now drives gently. His destination is more important to him than the adventure on the way. So what I mean by a seeker believe more in himself than believing in God is that a seeker is a responsible being who takes responsibility. Now, when things breaks down and things don't go as planned, the first thing that comes to the mind of a seeker is not who is behind it, it is what did I do wrong? Now, a question of who is behind it is pushing further the possibility of solution coming in the hand of unknown person. And because there is no one behind it, you don't have solution to it. But a seeker will first of all ask, what is it that I did wrong? Put down the whole situation, dissect it, and begin to now say, okay, this is where things have gone wrong. And immediately you find where things have gone wrong, you are able to fix it. Now, this has nothing to do with God. Do not get me wrong, we believe that there is spirit of life, the source of creation. But the source of creation is only good at creativity, but very bad at management. If the source of creation is good at both creativity and management, surely after creating the whole universe, it should also be occupying it by himself. But this source of creation cannot even do anything when it comes to management, can only spring or sprung creativity into the atmosphere. So that's where you come in as a seeker, because only you can manage the course of your life here. Only you can determine if your lot in life should be bad or good. Only you surely can dictate if you will experience happiness, sadness, joy, and you realize that whatever ingredient that is needed to create most of this feeling, all of them, as a matter of fact, is right within you. So that's why a seeker do not wait for your validation to either be happy or sad. So when he's sad because he's sad by himself. When he's happy not because you praise him, you give him kudos, but because he knows his worth. Now, one of such seeker that I've experienced and I've read extensively about is the man Yeshua. Several times they came to make him king, otherwise as God. And he would constantly run away from them. Now, what was your scripture saying? Your scripture says, for he knows the heart of man. What does that mean? It means that he knows that a man will only give you praise, will only validate you, will only give something to you because there is something to gain back, either from you or from a third party. So he chose to be king according to his own dictate, not because he was coronated. But unfortunately, Christians, they worship him as God today, but he never made himself God while he was alive. One day, he was talking to people about what should be their focus. And I said, ask, it shall be given. Knock, it will be opened unto you. Seek, you will find. What you need is not me. What you need is you. What you need is not a God that will be serving as an antidote to your pain. What you need is the intelligence that is being hidden inside of you to provide solution to every challenges of life. And he said, whoever seek will get what they are seeking. So while people were looking unto him, it was directing their focus into themselves. Have you read it that way before? While people are thronging and following him and asking him to do for them, he was telling them to do for themselves. So, look inward of you, look inside and seek whatever it is you are looking for in that place is here within you. So a seeker who does not believe in Jesus is not a true seeker. Why? Because it's one of the few seekers in the world who lead a successful life. Now, when he first started his life here, he kept talking to them about a kingdom that is far away. And when he had enough people who listened to him, his message changed. And he started talking to them about a kingdom that is within them. So every time they ask him, when is the kingdom coming? He will tell them the kingdom is unto this, is like this. The kingdom of God is within you. The kingdom of God is at reach. The kingdom of God is here inside you. But one thing I realized that is that Christians are looking for the kingdom outside of them, when Jesus told them that the kingdom is inside of them. Now, the difference between a Christian, a Muslim, and a seeker is responsibility. Responsibility. A seeker will blame himself for things that go wrong, not other people. So, because we always look outside of us for solution that is within us, we believe so many doctrines like generational curses, powers of our father's house, this and that, blood-sucking demon, and all of this, because we perpetually just want to blame something external for what is happening within us. But a seeker do not live like that. So there's no way you can be so prowess and so cool with your speaking ability that you will be able to convince a seeker that there is generational curses. Because really, he knows that so many nations of the world whose ancestors have done wars are not praying against such mundane things today. Why you? So who is a seeker? A seeker is whoever have decided not to believe that white is white until he asks questions and confirm it. Now, a seeker don't ask random foolish questions. A seeker asks questions that touches the heart and provoke intelligence. So you could give a seeker a Bible to read, and from Genesis to Revelation, he kept asking you, why should this be this? Why should this be that? But do you know that a Christian will just believe? A Christian, a Muslim say, if only you believe, if only you believe. And you realize that many people who believe without querying, they really stand the test of time. They really stand the test. So today I'm asking you, which God are you serving? Is it the God you found out within you, or the God that was marketed to you by some foreigners? In Brazil today and in Venezuela, they really love Shango Lukoso Araya Ina, Inolodu Inalenu, Apakata, Yeri Yeri. That's how they praise him. They do festival, big festival for Shango, and they worship Shango as God. What is the instrument there? The instrument of faith and belief. But in Nigeria here, I am a Yoruba man. I share the same race and lineage with Shango, who is from Oyo, Ajaka, as a matter of fact. So when I get in the midst of Brazilian Venezuela, or the people of Lukumi, and they begin to praise Shango and feel so emotional attached and all that, what do you think would be my reaction? It is to laugh at them. It is to just make mockery of them. Who the hell are these people? Why are they so much in love with this foolishness? Shango lived like a normal man and died like a normal man. Yeah, he has some scientific discovery that he did, but then it was depression that killed him. So his disciples said, okay, Shango did not commit suicide by hanging. And they said he disappeared. And a religion was formed around him. Just like they said Jesus also disappeared, and a religion was formed around it. And we believe that it disappeared truly until now because we did not ask questions. We didn't ask questions. We just took it. The same way they said Shango disappeared, Ogun disappeared too, Oya disappeared too, Yemoja disappeared too, Oshun also disappeared. Where are they disappearing to? Even Moses disappeared. Where are they all going to? Now, it is not where you will know that you are a true seeker is when you begin to now say, come, where are they going? Where do they disappear to? And since you have been alive, have you experienced someone disappeared into the thin air and you don't see them? So a seeker will get or garner his confidence to ask questions. What made them disappear? Just like when you travel from here to Jerusalem today, and you begin to say, Jesus is Lord, Jesus is Son of God, and all that. 98% of people there will now begin to laugh at you and say, which Jesus? They will tell you the story, they will tell you everything. Only thing they could not deny is that he was a great seeker and he touched base with his divine reality, which you too can do. And he did not hide it from you. He said, what I have done, you can do. More than that, you can also do. Because I am going to die now. How is it that someone who told you that you can do what he has done and you can do more than he became God? So a seeker will wonder, what should be my life? Concentrating on doing what he did and more than that, or just calling him to my rescue every time I'm So which one is easier? How will they know that you believe truly in this Jesus? Is it by doing what he did without mentioning his name and doing more than that? Or by mentioning his name and doing none of what he did? So a seeker will constantly live with that consciousness of responsibility. Now, at the point, this Jesus, I'm using Jesus as a point of contact so you can apply it to many other people who have come and gone. This Jesus sent out his disciple two, and they came back, they were happy. They said, the demons bowed to us and all that. And he said, come, your happiness in life should not be that demons bow to you. It is the least thing you can ever be or do as a human being who is a seeker. Said your joy should be that you step out to even seek for yourself if this is true or not. That you step out of your comfort zone of just believing that only I can do it, to going to get it done. So you can be a Muslim and be a seeker. You can be a Christian and be a seeker. But to be on the safer side, just be a seeker. There's no way you can be a successful Christian and be a seeker, because you will distort and disrupt any gathering you get. You can't be a normal Muslim as a seeker. So the best is just to be a seeker. So being a seeker has nothing to do with your color, your dressing, your language, your sitting position, not like this woman and all. Being a seeker happens all within you. The ability to query everything. And it's so marvelous that even your scripture says that you should test all spirits. Now, most of you think when it says test all spirits, it means that I should not be praying, okay, is it Mami water spirit or something? No. The meaning of that simply means deploy your intelligence, your third eye in every situation you find yourself. So when you are a seeker, you begin to work with your third eye, you realize that you can see through a person. So for instance, now you can come to lie to me and I will not find out. It could be a while, depending on my sensory level, depending on if I'm distracted or not, but that I will not know that you lied to me. I might not accuse you, but just don't think you are smart lying. You can be like that. So you get in a place, if it is not meant for you, as a seeker, you know there is a feeler, there's a vibration that is just not working well with your wavelength. So you just move away. So a seeker need not a prophet on the mountain or an herbalist in the valley to tell him or her who to marry, where to go, what business to do. Because right within him, the power of divination is sitting here. So either it will be successful or fail. It is right within it. So it's like a story of a man who was drawn like a cartoon. He was sitting on the wrong side of the tree and was cutting the tree down. If he succeed, he will fail. It's just the case of so many people who are embracing foreign gods, external idea, external validation, opinions of others, experience of others as a way to see God. If you succeed, you will fail. So this is a clarion call. This first episode is a clarion call. What would you rather be? Discovering all that God is through your own internal experience and reflecting it outside of you, or accepting who God is through the external information that can tweak your internal organization. I will not lie to you. It is never a good life, good in terms of being rosy, to be a seeker. And if you are never comfortable with your own company, your own loneliness, your own isolation, you will never be a successful seeker in this world. I do not mean that in terms of being melancholy, depressed, and saying I don't want to deal with you. Surely being a seeker is expected of you to be inclusive in the way you approach life, not saying I'm better than these people. You will include everybody. But while including everybody, you must be able to sift through them and know which voice, which company, which vibration which attraction is helping me push myself into my highest level of divinity. Remember that the very first way for you to have this inner engineering, this thing all go well within you, is through what you hear. What do you hear? And how often do you hear them? So it is always good for seekers to be in the companies of a fellow seekers. Why? Because you task your brain and you become gods on this planet. What I mean by that is when things happen, you do not look to a sky god to come down. You look for an inner God to come out. Have you not heard that greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world? So if the one in you is greater, why look for him in the space? Why look up to heaven? Why look up to the firmament? And it's already inside of you. So if nothing good is happening in your life, it is because you are not deploying the God nature in you. If you are not finding direction in this world, it's because you are not deploying the God nature in you. And there's no prayer that will get you to that point. Only you need to be a seeker, looking inward and challenging yourself. My name is Greatman Aguilara, and if you are a newcomer on this YouTube channel, please kindly go to YouTube right now, type Greatman Aguilara, press your subscribe button, and also the notification button so you will know whenever we are live. I am a seeker, and nothing is hidden from me, irrespective of how long it takes to come to the limelight. I am the light of the world. No darkness can survive under me, and I am the salt of the world. Nothing go decaying and sour under my watch. I am a seeker, and I seek the truth. Nothing but the truth. Namaste.